Welcome to Empowered by Illness, a podcast about living with genetic disorders. Episode 6, The Hardest Part. Being a parent can be hard, to say the least. When they're young, the questions come a little easier. Why is the grass green or the sky blue? How do I brush my teeth? How do I tie my shoes? I know with age the questions get harder. Why does that boy like her instead of me? What kind of deodorant do I use? Why do I get pimples? Why do I get bullied? How can I make more friends? But how many parents can say their children ask, why do I have to suffer? Why aren't there any answers for me? Why can't I just be a normal kid? As a parent, one of the hardest things is to watch your child suffer and not have any answers. These are questions my daughter and son both ask me weekly. How do I answer these aching questions? These torturous questions? She sits in pain every day, not able to function like a 14-year-old. She just wants to go to school, run track, and play tag without her body telling her, no, you can't. How do I comfort her in these times of sadness, hurt, and confusion? It's hard enough to be a parent in these insane days we live in, but to add the heartbreak of not knowing something that should be known, the invisible illness that no one can tell you why your body is so different than others. I try to comfort her in the knowledge that I've been in her shoes, that I've had to wait for answers also. It doesn't give her solace, unfortunately. I tell her I will fight to my last breath to figure out how to help her live, not just survive. That gives little contentment. It just benefits her to know that her mother fights so hard, but still no answer. The only relief she will find is with explanation of her illnesses. Finding the solutions can only come with the right team of doctors. As of late, we've found comorbidities, doctors that can help treat with those complications, but no definitive answer as to why she has these life-changing issues. Trudging on seems to be the only solution. Taking one day at a time on this journey, teaching her how to advocate for herself, tell them her symptoms, don't let them tell her they're not valid or real. Pay attention to what her body tells her, listen closely, and adjust her learning of said feelings. We should all know our feelings are in direct correlation with our body's well-being, so teaching our children how to come to terms with those feelings when they are happening and meet them with the proper channels. Side note, while writing this article, my daughter started having chest pains along with other major issues and had to be rushed to the hospital. We spent 12 hours at the hospital waiting for treatment. We found out it wasn't anything life-threatening, thank God. This is just another example of how hard it is for them. Instead of being at home relaxing, talking teen drama with her friends, she's sitting in an ER with tons of sick children, begging me to go home. The hardest part about that is telling her we can't until we know it isn't anything serious. Having no control is just an understanding we have to have with the powers that be. It definitely doesn't make things any easier in our chronic life. We all feel like Dory from Nemo, and we often say to each other, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. I guess this is the only way to keep moving and get a small laugh out of these hardships. Acknowledge how we feel, let those feelings out, and continue to go on with our daily lives. Find the small wins, a new good doctor, singing loudly in the car together, laughing at something silly as a family, etc. I pray that one day we find answers for her and lift that weight off of her shoulders. After that, it moves on to the next battle. So, in the meantime, we comfort each other the only way we can and hold each other up when we need it. Family for us is literally what we have to keep us going. I hope you have the same love of family that we do. This is our heartbeat, even through the heartbreak. We are here for one another, especially on the hard days. I wrote this article in January 2023, and it got me contemplating what is the hardest part for others who live as we do, since not all people have children they care for that also have chronic illness or genetic disorders. So I did a poll in 5 different medical support groups I'm in on Facebook. The poll choices were isolation, which I should have specified more. When I said isolation, I meant not feeling validated by friends, losing friends because of our medical situation, feeling like you can't express what's happening to other people because they won't understand. I didn't really specify, so a lot of people were commenting those things, but those are forms of isolation. grieving the life you had before, the medical BS, which if you live in our world, you know that entangles so much, dealing with insurance companies, having doctors not believe you, and so on and so on, altering everyday life, while people added some of their own in some groups, such as doctors who don't listen or take you seriously, resulting in worsening symptoms due to lack of care, never-ending pain, having an understanding employer when you keep having to explain injuries or ailments, constantly feeling bad for canceling when I do feel good, having the ones who love you not believing you that there is something wrong, having to explain yourself to people who do not understand because you look normal, having to stop mid-fun in the name of pacing yourself, scared of where I'll be in 10, 20, 30 years from now in terms of pain, relationships, functioning, and money, and grieving the life I've never had. What I have truly found is these are all the things we think about constantly. Like a merry-go-round of hell, we touch all of these emotions and feelings at one point or another in these chronic lives of ours. Constantly in motion and never ending. Just wanting to come up from the waves to breathe for a minute is truly not possible. Even though some of us try to have positive thoughts and happy moments, these are the things that are always within arm's reach or even attached to our bodies, with no way to release them. I had one gentleman comment this, and it really touched me to the depths of my soul, because I have come to the conclusion that eventually one of these diseases will take me to my final resting place. And if I concentrate on it for too long, my world will truly crumble to the ground, and I will waste all of the good moments I might miss. This is his comment. I mostly fear the unknown. While I do grieve, feel constant pain, have lost friendships, have been more isolated, and have lost out on so many different and amazing experiences, the lingering and ever-present fear is where I'll be 10, 20, 30 plus years from now. If my life has changed so drastically by now, what semblance of life will I have then? Will I be alone? Will I lose my disability or job? Will I be able to handle the pain, depression, isolation? Will I have any friends left? Will I be able to live on my own? Will I still want to be living when I no longer feel I am able to survive? This is what consumes me, unfortunately. I had to reach out to him, and I felt the need to my soul to comfort him. He assured me he did not need comfort, just commenting the answer that gets him the most in life. It made me realize we are all living on the edge of a cliff, and if we don't take the small moments and try to live to the fullest, I know, easier said than done, then that edge will crumble before we know it. The hardest part is all of it. The true nature of living these lives is laid out in this podcast for all to hear. It's all of it. So the next time you see someone struggling in their merry-go-round, lend them a hand, and even though it might not be your hardest part of life, it could definitely be theirs. Until next time, remember to love yourself like you love others, and take things one step at a time. When subscribing to Empowered by Illness, you are not only spreading awareness of genetic disorders and chronic illness, but helping our family with medical bills and everyday necessities. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for subscribing to Empowered by Illness.